What's going on, my good people? Mike Hidalgo here. Thank you for joining us on another FCP Euro DIY. Today, we're going to be working on a 2009 Mini Cooper R56. Today on the Mini behind me, we're going to be covering how to replace your rear trunk lid grip and release button. This is one of the options available on fcpo.com, which includes the actual trim piece that you pull the trunk open from with the release button. It also includes the lights for the license plate, and it also has the bulbs inside of them as well. Added to this, also included by BMW, is the trim piece that goes above it. This is a primered version. The R56 behind us has the chrome trim, so we're going to try to save that from the old piece, but these do come primered. You can get them painted, you can wrap them, whatever you need to match the exterior of your vehicle. For us today, we're going to try to salvage the chrome piece. So essentially what happens to these and why you may want to consider replacing them is one or two things. The main thing is the rubber on the button release wears over time, which is what happened to ours. So it starts to tear, exposing the circuit board inside, causing it to potentially fail due to weather, rain, washing the car. And that also makes it a little bit harder to open versus having the nice rubber grip on here. Makes it a lot easier. The button's nice and easy to use. Second thing is sometimes as these cars get older, people may put the wrong lights in the license plate light holders. Sometimes they'll do an LED upgrade that isn't proper. You start melting everything, and then you have no more license plate lights. So if you're looking to replace it due to the grip or the lights, this is going to be the piece for you. This should be a pretty forward and easy install, but before we get started, let's take a look at some of the tools we're going to need for this job. For this job, we're going to use a T20 with an extension. If you have a deep T20, you can use that as well. We're pairing that with a 1/4-inch ratchet. One thing you may need is a pick if you're going to be reusing the light bulbs in your old housings or you have trouble with the electrical connector. So just keep that in mind that a small pick may be necessary. But with that, let's go ahead and get started on this DIY. All right, gang, we are at the back of the R56. We have 4 T20s, 2 on either side of the release, and 1 on either end of the whole trim assembly to remove. So we'll use our T20. I just have an extension on here to make it a little bit easier. All right, now that we have the 4 T20s out, we can gently pull this away from the trunk. We are gonna have an electrical connector up here for the light and button that we're gonna wanna unplug. With the assembly out, at a quick glance, you can see the opening in our rubber release for the trunk. So we were just pushing directly on the button right on the circuit board. So this wasn't long for this life if we left it like that. So good thing we're gonna go ahead and replace it now. We're gonna go ahead and disconnect our electrical connector. So this one's a bit of a tight snug. There's no real release tab on it. So we're gonna use a small pick to lift up the plastic here a little bit, get underneath the tab and pull away. And then in our case, our R56 is equipped with a trim panel. So we're gonna go ahead and just pop this off so we can reuse it with the new release. So we'll go ahead and do that quickly. We're just gonna use a small pick, but for those of you looking to do the same, you have a couple release tabs on the back, 1 on either end, and that should get you started to popping the old trim off if you're gonna be reusing it. So I'm just doing a combo of a pick and a flathead screwdriver to separate these 2 pieces together, just pushing down on the chrome tabs so that they slide underneath the plastic of the grip. And then we can go ahead and just slowly start working it off. The flathead just kind of helps us pry it away and keeping it from kind of clipping back together as we go through the whole thing. So you're not too worried about damaging the black grip portion of this, as that's what we're actually here to replace. So we want to be mindful of the chrome tabs. Make sure we don't break those. What I'm doing now is I'm reaching in and I'm pulling up on the chrome tabs on the bottom half of the trim here. You can't see them from the bottom, but you can see them from up top. So I'm just lifting them up gently 1 by 1. That's going to release them from the plastic, from the black plastic, and then we can slowly get the rest of this off. So here's our chrome piece. These were the interior clips that we were pulling up on like this, just gently separating them from the black grip plastic. So I'm going to bring this over to our new trunk release grip. We're going to clip it on, and then we'll reinstall. We're going to go ahead and join these two together. Be the same process as if we were using the one equipped with the new grip, except this one's chrome again. So we're going to be using this one. So to make sure all our tabs line up. And there we go. Everything looks nice and neat. It's nice and flush with the grip. Now we can go ahead and reconnect the electrical connector. It only goes on one way. It is keyed, so there's no worry in connecting it the wrong way. Once that's in, go ahead and feed this back into place. And now with that, we can grab our 4 T20s and snug those in. They are just going into plastic, so there's no need to crank them down a tremendous amount. Once they start to snug up, we're gonna call it good. I'm gonna start with the 2 middle ones first, just to get them started, kind of hold everything in place. All right, with all 4 of them started, we're gonna go ahead and snug them down now. Again, I'm gonna go back to the middle, snug the 2 middle ones first, and then the ones on the end. Barely any force, it just snugged up, call it good. T20 there is good. All right, my good people. With that, our trunk grip release is installed. All we have left to do is make sure it works. We just had a couple bungee cords holding this down for filming. We can go ahead and close our trunk. Check for any gaps or any unevenness in the body lines. This looks good. And that to me, it's gonna be good to rock and roll, my good people. That is gonna conclude this DIY for today. Overall, a really easy and straightforward job on the R56. Again, both for the base and S models. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments on what we did today, leave those in the comment section below. And if you like this DIY and you want to see more like them, please consider subscribing. We make new ones all the time. As always, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.